Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Sophie and this is my first video. So I am hoping from this channel to share my infertility story and lifestyle vlogs and just things that I all around love to do day to day. But the main thing that I do want to share on this channel is our infertility journey. And the reason I want to do that is because I've been going through it for a while, and anytime I want information on something, I turn to YouTube and I look up different videos. I've watched a ton and they always help me out. I want to share that with you guys so that it might help you out. But I also want to document it for myself because I think that eventually I will really appreciate having those memories documented on a video so that I can look back and see how I was feeling at the time and how things have progressed, and hopefully in the future, I can look back on this with a baby in my arms. So today I am going to talk about my fertility journey as a whole. So where it began, where we are now, and everything in between, from my feelings to all the appointments that we've had and what we've discovered. I also want to apologize if the lighting is a bit strange in this video. I'm not an expert and the sun is coming in from this angle. It is gonna be what it's gonna be. Typically, I would have liked to kind of figure that out beforehand, but it's not gonna happen as it seems. So yeah. So I married my husband in 2017, August 11th, 2017. And we had been together since 2010. We weren't high school sweethearts, technically, because I was still in high school and he was graduated high school when we met, and we didn't go to the same high schools either. However, we met a very long time ago. We've been together now for more than 10 years and we had our whole lives planned out. So we got engaged in 2015, June 2015. Is that right? Was it August? No, it was August 2015. I'm sorry. I hoped strongly that he would propose in June 2015, and then it took him a couple more months. You know, you're so young at that point. And we got married August 11, 2017, like I said, and it was a perfect wedding. It was so much fun. It was the greatest night of my life, greatest day of my life. And like I said, we've been together for so long that we had all of this planned out. And so we knew at that point when we got married, we wanted to move back to our hometown before trying to get pregnant. We also wanted our own house. So in 2018, we bought our first home, which we currently live in, where I'm seated right now. And this is not a forever home by any means, but it is a starter home, and it's our home for probably the next 3 to 5 years. And we knew that as soon as we would buy this home, that we would start trying to conceive. And I think, like everyone else, you grow up thinking, I need to protect myself at all costs because it's extremely easy to get pregnant. And I believe that. And when we started trying, I remember we started trying November 2018. And I remember thinking, I'm gonna get pregnant so easily. Like, I just feel it. Like, I know that I'm gonna get pregnant, no issues, guaranteed. I don't know why I was thinking that. And then the back of my mind, a little tiny part of me was like, we're gonna have all the issues in the world. Like, it was kind of half for me. Like, yes, we're gonna get pregnant so easily. And then the other half of me was like, I think we're gonna have issues. I don't know why. I just had that feeling. And I was right, unfortunately. So, what ended up happening for the first 3 months, so November, December, January, I was just excited to try. I was like, we're gonna get pregnant within the first 6 months, no issues. And in January, we ended up telling our families that we were trying, mainly because my sister-in-law was trying as well. So Dan's family was kind of always on that subject. And then for her second baby, so she already had a baby, our nephew. And then my mom, we were out to dinner. I'll always remember this conversation. We were out to dinner, me, my sister, my aunt, my mom, and my adopted aunt Phyllis. She's not really our aunt, but she feels like it, honestly. And we were all out to dinner. And we got to talking about babies and when Dan and I would start our family. They had never asked me before. We'd been married for more than a year at that point. Very grateful for that, honestly. But my mom just said, "You're not trying, are you?" And we've been trying for 3 months at that point. And I remember my mom saying, "Oh my gosh, if you're anything like me, you're gonna be pregnant in no time. If I have my mom's genes, I'll be pregnant ASAP." Obviously that's not the case. We're getting there. So after 5 months of trying, I lost patience, and I know that's so early to lose patience, but I think when everybody else around you is getting pregnant and people seem to be getting pregnant within 3 months of trying, you automatically think, I should be getting pregnant as well. Why am I having any issues? So I did go to my family doctor after 5 months of trying, and my husband ended up going to his family doctor. We don't have the same family doctor. In Canada, it's a lot harder to get family doctors, so you stick with the doctor that you have. You don't like switch doctors and go to your spouse's doctor when you get married or anything like that. You just stick with your doctor because it is incredibly difficult to find doctors around here. So he went to his doctor for an analysis on his side, and I went to the doctor to see what she could do for me or where we could go from here. Again, I know it was so early. So I went to my doctor and had a conversation with her, and she was basically like, okay, you need to wait until you've been trying for 11 months, which is, it's usually 12 months, but she knew that I was impatient, and she said, come see me after 11 months and I'll refer you to a fertility specialist. In Canada, there are 2 ways you can go. You can be referred to the fertility specialist right away, or you can be referred to an OBGYN. They can try to make it work, and then if that doesn't work, then you're referred to a fertility specialist. Probably because I was so impatient, she was like, I'll refer you straight up to the fertility specialist. And in the meantime, let's do all of your blood tests and see if there's anything wrong with your hormones. She asked me tons of questions about my cycle, and this is where it's gonna get TMI. If you're not into this, you can click off, but this is a fertility video, so I'm gonna talk about all the little details. Basically, I've had a regular period my entire life since I've had my period. So I've never had any issues with my period. My period comes every 25 days. It is from 5 to 6 days in length. I ovulate on day 11 or 12, and my flow is normal. And I do have like cramping, but there's only like 1 day out of my period that I do need to take any type of like Advil or Tylenol. So it's not the most painful period. I've seen people with much worse, obviously. So my period is, generally speaking, very, very normal. To the point where my doctor, I remember her saying something like, you're not gonna have any issues. It's just gonna take you more time. It's the timing. You just need to get the timing right. Are you tracking it correctly? And at this point, I was tracking so religiously. I wasn't stressed out. A lot of people are like, were you stressed out? Is this what contributed to you not getting pregnant? Although I was serious about trying and for the first few months, and I was, making doctor's appointments and stuff like that, I wasn't feeling stressed out. I was actually quite calm. And so when people ask me, like, is it because you were stressed out? No, it wasn't. We'll get to that later. So another thing too is I was not stressed, but sad a lot of the time. So for the first 6 months, 6 to 8 months, I was taking ovulation tests. Like I said, very regular. I would ovulate 11 or 12 days into my cycle. So I kind of knew when I was ovulating. After 6 months, I stopped taking ovulation tests. In the first 6 to 8 months, I was also testing, like if I was pregnant before my period would show up. Stopped doing that after about 8 months. I gave everything up after 8 months, especially when all my testing came back normal and all of my husband's testing also came back normal. So there was literally nothing wrong with us from our blood test to our to the semen analysis. And on top of that, I was referred by my doctor to get an ultrasound to check my ovaries and that situation down there. Did that, everything came back great, nothing abnormal there. So then it was a waiting game until month 11 so that I could go back to the doctor and get referred to the fertility clinic. And so that's what happened. At month 11, I went back. She referred me to the fertility clinic. It takes 6 to 8 months to get into the fertility clinic. There's only one in my province. And so I don't have many options. And so it takes a long time to get in. We went into our fertility appointment on February 22nd, 2020. And I'm going to do a video just on our experience with our first appointment at the fertility clinic. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but basically before he could do anything else for me, I had to get an HSG done, which I'm also going to do a video about. For the longest time, I was diagnosed with unexplained infertility, meaning that there was nothing indicating any issues on either side. We just couldn't get pregnant. In October 2020, so just last month, we hit 2 years of trying to conceive with no success. And I also had my HSG a couple of weeks ago, and I can tell you the results really quickly, but basically I have one blocked tube and I have one completely open tube from what I understand. My follow-up appointment with the fertility clinic is coming up on December 10th. And after that appointment, I'll be doing a video all about what he recommends we do. If it's actually clear on the right side and blocked on the left. That's what he told me quickly when we were doing the HSG, but that could change. He might look at it and figure something else out. So I am no longer unexplained infertility. It's probably tubal factor infertility, in the sense that yes, I could still get pregnant. Tons of women get pregnant with one tube, but it's less likely. And I've been trying for 2 years and I have not gotten pregnant. So for me, it's obviously affecting our TTC journey. So that's where I'm at in the technical sense. I want to talk a little bit about my feelings, my emotions throughout the last 2 years, because I think that's the biggest part of it all. Is emotionally, it is very difficult. It's not an easy journey to go through. And if you're going through it, I am with you 100%. It's not easy. It is so tough. You feel like you are alone in this. And I will say that I don't know anyone personally that is going through infertility. So that specifically has been hard for me because I don't have someone to talk to in real life that is dealing with this. Online, that's where I've found a lot of peace with it, because people on YouTube are starting to talk a lot more about infertility. I am part of a couple of Facebook groups from the fertility clinic that I actually go to, and women that are also going to that clinic. So I'm kind of finding a common ground on the internet, and that's one of the reasons I'm doing these videos. because I want other women to know that they're not alone. So I'll talk a little bit through how I've been feeling over, like I said, the last 2 years. At the beginning, excitement. And let me tell you, it was a roller coaster. It still is a roller coaster. There are days where I am so sad and other days where I'm completely fine and it doesn't really affect me much. The first 3 months were pure bliss of trying because I was sure I was getting pregnant easily. And then month 4 to 8 were probably the toughest times I've had in the last 2 years, because I realized that I might not get pregnant on my own. I just had that feeling. Like, as soon as it took more than 6 months, I was like, I'm not getting pregnant easily. Like, there's something off here. And I was right at the time, but keep in mind, if you are trying and you're only on month 6 or 7th or 8th, it can take up to a year for a healthy couple to conceive. So even though I was feeling that way, don't feel like you need to feel that way, because everybody's different and some couples will conceive after a year or even 2 years. It depends on the person. They can be completely healthy and conceive. It just takes them a longer time. And that's often what happens with unexplained infertility, is that you get, after a year, they say that you're dealing with infertility. After a year consecutive of trying and tracking, you are dealing with infertility. And so you can have unexplained infertility, but the truth of the matter is, for a lot of times, it's just bad timing. So if you've been trying for 8 or 9 months, you may get pregnant next month, okay? It doesn't mean that there's something wrong. In my case, it did, but it doesn't mean in your case that it would. Yeah, 4 to 8 months were my toughest of times. I just was so down on myself. I was still testing to see if I was pregnant before my period at this point, and I would break down every time it was negative. So at month 9, I stopped all of that. I stopped tracking ovulation. I stopped tracking I didn't take any more pregnancy tests. I stopped all of that bad behavior, because for me, that was bad behavior. And I would say since then, since month 9 of trying, so it's been more than a year, I've been a lot more stable in my emotions. I think sometimes I have bad days, but overall, I know that there's a plan out there for me. The universe is going to give me babies one day. And it might not be like I imagined, and it might not have come as easy as I thought it would, but we will conceive and we will have the children that we really, really want. And I think that's why I've been okay, is that I know that there is something that's gonna happen, especially now that my HSG is done. That was the last piece of the puzzle. And honestly, it took a lot longer because of COVID. I was supposed to have that test in like May, June, and I only had it in November. So if it wasn't for COVID, I might be pregnant already. But I do have, like I said, my follow-up appointment December 10th, where we talk about our options and where we're going and what's gonna happen going forward. And that means that I'm closer and closer to being pregnant. So I think that's why I'm okay with it. Ever since I've had my initial appointment at the fertility specialist, I've been at peace with what's happening, because I think that means that you're finally getting help and you're where you're supposed to be at this point. So it hasn't been as traumatic since I've started going to the fertility clinic. So that's a little bit where I'm at right now. Like I said, I'm going to keep on with this series. If you guys have any specific questions about infertility, my journey, your journey, I'm not a medical professional, but maybe I can give you guys some insight. Let me know. There are other videos coming, like my what to expect during your first infertility appointment, what to expect with your HSG, and also I'm gonna do a video on my follow-up appointment with the fertility clinic, and many, many more. If you have specific requests, tell me down below. And if you like this video, press the like button and please subscribe to be notified every time I post a new video. See ya.